What's going on today, Internet? Selfish here with Retrospect. Today we're going to take a look at what might be the most surprising handheld so far in 2025, coming from what appears to be a new brand, BatleXP. This here is the G350, and it's got a lot of tricks up its sleeve. Let's take a look. As I'm unboxing this, I will put the specs up in the corner. Notably, this does rock an RK3326, the same chipset that you're going to see in something like the R36S, so we're going to do a couple little comparisons here today as well. But that's not really the magic of this device, so let's get it opened up and take a look. It's a pretty simple unboxing here. We do have the device. We do have a Type A to Type C charger. There she is, the A to C. And we do have an origami accordion. Yes, a proper accordion again. It's been a while since we have had one that properly opened. This has some good information on it. I'd recommend probably reading it. Especially if you're new to the space, it may be helpful to read through that manual. Not a lot in it, but some good information for the newcomers to retro handhelds. We're going to open her up here real quick. We do have the G350. We're going to go through the I/O, and then we're going to talk about the secret sauce behind this. So up here on the top, we do have a 3.5 hole as well as a C hole. This is DC and OTG, so this actually works as your charging and OTG port. So if you're going to put a dongle in it, it goes there. If you're going to charge it, it goes there as well. On the back here, we do have our shoulders and triggers, and they are very nice, as you can hear. Not overly clicky, and they work very well. They do have a very good contour to them as well, and they don't go over the lips, so they don't get stuck on your pocket. This is a very pocketable device here that BatleXP has come out with, and these are some of the best rear bumper triggers we've seen so far, and we're going to talk a little bit about why that is. On the left over here, we do have volume up and down and a micro SD hole. On the right hand side over here, we do have the power, a reset button, and another micro SD hole. This whole layout may look familiar to you, and we're going to talk about why here shortly. On the bottom here, we do have a single downward firing speaker. I believe it's 1 watt. It's coming straight towards your lap for some reason. And on the front here, we do have our ABXY face buttons here. These do have a good amount of travel and a really good bounce back. Very familiar feeling. Really, really nice face buttons. I've been impressed with these, as well as this D-pad over here. Also, very, very good D-pad, very familiar feeling. The membrane in it is about perfect. We do have our start and select, and we do have a menu key right here in the middle. Down here, we do have switch style joysticks, and they do click. And then up on top here, we do have a 640x480 3.5-inch IPS display. So that goes really well with the RK3326 that's powering this bad boy. There is no built-in Wi-Fi, but we do have that OTG port up here on the top. It's taken me a while to make this review. I've been playing with it for a while actually now. Part of that was I was doing some research on BatleXP. There's an article over on retrospect.gg if you want to take a look at it. I dug really deep, and then the whole house of cards just kind of got thrown out there right around the same time that I posted the article. But the secret to this is the internals and everything on here, the entire build here pretty much is Anbernic. It appears that Anbernic has come out with a budget line now, and it is BatleXP. The trademark for the name BatleXP actually launched in December, same time that the SoC in here was designed. So this is actually technically a budget Anbernic device, but it's not Anbernic. It's a side project of theirs that they're doing, and this competes directly with the R36S, and you can't tell by looking at them, right? Now this is a little bit shorter, I believe a little bit thinner. See if we can line it up. Yeah, so I believe it's a little bit thinner. So overall it's slightly smaller, but it does have that Anbernic look and design of their newer handhelds where they went with that edged corner and the rounded outside, which kind of was the dead giveaway until you realize that all of the buttons feel like Anbernic buttons. And the other ring around it is, and it's gonna be a little bit harder to tell because I have a black 40XX-V, but these are the same buttons. If you were to be able to see through here, you could see that these buttons travel up exactly the same, using the same rear buttons on here, as well as the D-pad feels almost identical. This one does have a little bouncier membrane. The membrane on this one reminds me more of actually the 353V VS. That's what that feels like. And then also you have your menu key right here. You have your start and select that look pretty darn similar in the same place. And then it is using the exact same joystick that's on here too from the feels of it. Now, oddly, the 40XX-V doesn't seem to have as much travel as it does here. So they may actually be using the joysticks out of the 353V. That would make a whole lot of sense because they're probably trying to get rid of parts for this handheld. And even if you look at it with the 353V, they look very similar. The buttons for the face buttons though are definitely out of the 40XX-V. The D-pad feels like the membrane is out of the 353V. Now, I could be wrong. I know it's all Anbernic stuff though. And when I was doing this, I thought I was like a sleuth and I made this whole article about it. And like literally right after that, the cat came out of the bag where Anbernic came out and said, yes, we were involved in the project of making this BatleXP. I don't believe that they've claimed it as their own yet, which I don't think that they ever will because this is going to be a budget brand. And I believe that the idea behind it is for them to be able to get rid of some of the parts that they have sitting around for older handhelds. For instance, the 3326 SoC that's in here, they they aren't really using anymore, but they probably have a pile of them sitting in a warehouse somewhere because they used it on plenty of handhelds in the past. That gives them an opportunity to put it into something where it's already spent parts, so they just need to put everything together, and that's what this really seems like it is, and it is a really good feeling R36S. Now, there is an R36S XX that just came out. I haven't looked at that yet. That does actually have built-in Wi-Fi, but as these two stand right here, I have spent more time and energy trying to make my R36S feel like this does out of the box, and this is valued probably with parts at least 3 times more than this costs out the door. And this is a nicer screen. I mean, just it all around, it's a nicer device. Even to get the back buttons on the R36S right, you almost need to go with better back buttons, which cost more than the handheld itself. And you probably don't need to go as crazy as I did with buttons for PlayStation and other buttons, but I did. And this is before they came out in orange and white. Everything here I had to have custom made. Before we get into gameplay footage, I just want to give a shout out to our friends over at 2 Retro who supplied this handheld for a fair and honest review. They get no input in the review and they will not see it before you do. But what you get out of this is a discount. So if you hit the link down on my thingamabob, 2 Retro has supplied you with a discount of 10%. Hit that code up here, Retrospect, at checkout, and you'll save yourself some money. As of when I started making this video, the price was around and or the same as you'd find it over on AliExpress, but you do get the backing of 2 Retro. So you do get a better customer support system in case something were to go wrong with the handheld. So that's the way that I like to buy handhelds. You can do it however you want, but if you want to save yourself 10% and get that support, hit that link down on my thingamabob for 2 Retro, and thank you again 2 Retro for supplying this for a fair and honest review. Now let's get some gameplay going. Well, my R36S died. So yeah, there's that. I was going to do a comparison, but I'm going to be unable to do that for this video. I'll try to get it back up and going for another one though. All in, this is just another R36S, but this one here has a much finer build quality. You're not going to find yourself throwing a bunch of parts at it. At least I wouldn't, in order to make it look and feel the way that you'd want it to. The R36S is a nice device, and it did deserve the crown of Budget King, but I wholly believe that the crown of that has now been transferred over here to the G350. This thing is just the chef's kiss. Mwah! Now, there are, of course, things that I don't like about it, because it wouldn't be me if I didn't have something to complain about. My biggest complaint, though, still is going to be that there's no Wi-Fi built in. Not often do we see Wi-Fi on the 3326 anyways. It really just depends on the manufacturer. This is one of those cases where we're not seeing it, similar to the R36S, which is, I think, why I categorized the two together. They just really feature-wise fit almost identical. Though the R36S screen didn't suck, this is a much nicer screen, and I do believe that, again, that this is the screen out of the RG355XX. It is a 640 by 480. It just has a really crisp picture to it. These are the normal Anbernic joysticks, though, that have cardinal snapping and suck, so I really wish they would have got away from these Switch-style joysticks they have on here, because we are still getting cardinal snapping, which we do on most of the Anbernic devices that don't have the AYN or Retroid sticks in them, which is an unfortunate thing. My understanding is that it's more of a software thing than it is a hardware thing, because you are able to correct it with software. It seems that Anbernic likes to set up their joysticks for more arcade style, and this is just my own personal opinion, but it seems to me like they're setting them up for more arcade style gaming than they are for maybe playing PSP or PlayStation on them. Even though they have systems on here up to and including Sega Saturn, as stated before, you're not going to want to play some of those games on here. You're pretty much going to want to top out around PS1. There are going to be some PSP or PSP mini games you're going to be able to get away with playing on here, even though they'll be shrunk a little bit. But for the most part, I would expect this to be an up to and including PS1 handheld, no matter how it's advertised. My other really big complaint about this is that downward firing speaker. Unless you're cupping your hands underneath it, you can't hear it. It reminds me of the Lenovo Legion Go, where they go up. You still can't hear those either. So downward firing speakers are better than upward firing speakers, but they're not perfect. At least you get a little bit of reverb when you do a downward firing speaker, so it comes back at you, where on an upward firing speaker, it just goes out in the atmosphere. It's just the wrong spot for the speaker, and it's really disappointing when Anbernic has put the front firing speaker on everything, and the R36S, which is supposed to be a clone of the RG353V and VS, still went with the frontward firing speaker. We recently looked at a Powkiddy, which also fits within this line, that also has a front firing speaker. You know, what I'm noticing right now, actually, is how much lighter the G350 is than these other handhelds. Just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to weigh a couple of these just to see if I'm right or not, if that is lighter. I haven't weighed these yet, but here's the Powkiddy V20 coming, I don't want ounces. Here is the Powkiddy V20 coming in at 207 grams. We do have the R36S here coming in at 197 grams. Well, we'll do the 353 VS here, 197 grams. So those two are spot on. I still think that this is going to be lighter. Oh, exactly the same. Well, I stand corrected. Maybe it's just because it's smaller, because it is smaller than these others. Maybe that's what's making it feel a little bit lighter. If this is something that you're interested in or have questions about it, don't forget to leave comments down in the comment section down below. I'm pretty good about answering pretty much every comment that I get. I try to answer as long as I can find time. But with that, I think we're going to leave it right here. That's all I got for today. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share this video with your friends, because sharing is caring. It also helps grow the channel. And once you're done with all that, take a look at these videos Google chose them for you. They're probably going to be pretty good. I'm also leaving down in the description a link to pick up the G350 from our friends over at 2 Retro, as well as a link to the R36S build that I did and showed here today, in case that's something that you want to do on your own device. All the things that I ordered for are in the description of that video as well. But that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.